was younger, it was like y'all not liking each other is only affecting me. Like, cause y'all live y'all happy lives without each other, but I gotta live with both of y'all every day. And when I go home, and I'll get excited because I want to tell my mom about something good that happened to mommy. What I'm telling her for, she ain't gonna care. Or like if I am telling stuff to mommy, because mommy is a little more like, you know, like she'll listen, but she ain't gonna care.
Hashtag Mo Gently Talks. It's the clean theory. Clean spirit homes and lives when you feeling weary. The space is safe to purge and re-emerge. We hope you feel the urge on the verge to stay driven while looking at the lives of 3 dope black women. No topics forbidden, raw, bearing our souls. We got love for everybody, even some for you trolls. Talking life, lost love, how to get to the bag. The clean theory, Mo Gently Talks. It's the hashtag.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Clean Theory. We are here for part 3 of the How to Be a Bonus Child, which is in response to our first and very successful series of How to Be a Bonus Parent. I am Simone, a.k.a. Mo.
I am Zaina, Jen's daughter.
And I'm Lee. Thanks for joining The Clean Theory.
Thank you guys for joining The Clean Theory. Once again, this is Zaina. This is Jen's daughter. She is here. She's joined with us. She's been very confident and courageous by coming here and wanting to give her perspective to not just us, but to you guys about what life is like or has been like. And now that she's an adult, being a bonus child and having a bonus mom. She's here because she's an adult and she was able to consent. And Lee and my child, you know, they're not here because they are underage. And so we are here, we're talking, and this is part 3 of this series. And so we're going to get right into the next question. So we're going to watch this. What do we say?
It's hard to kind of contain a child that may have some manipulative tendencies. I think your best bet is to understand that it exists. Understand that both households are getting played,
Right.
And try not to be too surprised about it. Like Simone said, all kids are definitely manipulative, undercover control freaks, for real.
And so for me, just as my experience as a child many, many, many years ago,
Girl, that was yesterday.
That was yesterday because I look so good. Thank you.
so
Hello. You know, what I've learned as a bonus parent and then looking back at myself as a child is, and, you know, I did say this during the series, is that children are manipulative by nature, right? Some people, some children, yes, they're cowering in the corner and like, I want to be manipulative. I want to make your life a living hell.
Yeah.
But for the most part, children are in a continuous, perpetual state of need and want. And so that's where the manipulation comes in. And so with this clip, you know, I know you picked out, you know, some sort of remnant of this clip. So let's talk about your reaction to that. And then Lee and I will ask you some questions.
So when I first saw the clip, I was like, no, I'm not. Like I remember I was eating popcorn in the bed, I was typing up paper, and I like looked up and I heard mommy say, I was like, what you talking about? That's like, but then I like thought about it and I was like, well, maybe, yeah. Like, and it wasn't like, cause I'm trying to hurt y'all's feelings or nothing, but like, I need to do what I gotta do. And I know if mommy and daddy say no, if I go tell my mama, she gonna call you and she gonna cuss you out and she gonna make you do it. And is it messed up? Yeah. Do I want my daddy to get cussed out? No, but I want to go to LSU. I don't know why I want to go to LSU, but I didn't get it to Rochester, so I don't see anywhere else to go. Like that was honestly the biggest thing that stuck in my mind immediately that moment, because I remember that. I would never forget that. Rochester was my dream school. Not really like a dream school, but it was like guaranteed. It was safety. I was in love with the drama program, and in high school I was the president and founder of the drama club. So I was like, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life, like, which is not what I want to do now. I was wrong.
Hello.
But you know, 18-year-old me was like, all right, I got this in the bag. I already got the plan, so I'm going to go to Rochester and continue the plan. And then I didn't get in. And I was like, okay. So.
Gotta readjust.
Where's the farthest school from? And it was LSU. So I was like, okay, LSU it is. And mommy and daddy were like, how about choose the cheaper school? And I was like, well, the cheapest school is actually the cheapest school was a school that I got into, and they offered me a full scholarship, not a full scholarship, it was like almost a full scholarship, like pennies away from full scholarship before being a classics major. And daddy was like, I'm not sending you to no Missouri to become Indiana Jones. And I was like, well, I can't go there then, because like I got the scholarship. It was a small liberal arts school, and my Latin teacher in high school, because I took Latin for all 4 years, she was like one of very close friends with the with the director of the program. So he gave me all those scholarships because she recommended me. So I was like, I can't go to this school with this money if I don't do this major, because it's a very specific major. So I was like, all right, then bet I'm gonna just run away then. So it was Louisiana State. And daddy was like, what you know about Louisiana? I was like, I know about Louisiana.
Don't question me.
Yeah.
That's children.
And then I went to my mom and I was like, I just love Louisiana, mommy. I want to go to Louisiana so I can be a Louisianian. and then my favorite movie growing up was Princess and the Frog. And I was like, I got to be like Princess Tiana. I know I'm going to be successful because she was successful. And, you know, just pulling on the heartstrings, like bringing back the childhood, the little baby Zayna. And my mom was like, okay, fine. You're going to LSU.
Okay.
And mommy and daddy were like, no. You don't know anything. You've never been to Louisiana. You don't even. Where is it on a map? And so I like baited my mom into making sure I went to Louisiana. I don't regret it now. I absolutely love Louisiana State. But I mean, they were right. I knew nothing about Louisiana. We pulled up move-in day. It was my first time ever in Louisiana. I didn't even know what Baton Rouge was. I thought it was new. I thought I was going to New Orleans. I'm not about to lie. Like, I only knew that Louisiana had New Orleans in it, and I thought that's where I was going.
Okay.
And I did not. Like, but I mean, I'm glad I went there now. But that was definitely like a very manipulative moment of me. But it was also because like it just felt like I personally felt like I was continuously being shut down. Like, because I didn't mind going to school to be a classics major. I applied to that school for the classics program because I was so interested in Latin and I wanted to study Greek. And I'm still doing Latin in college now, even in Louisiana State. But daddy said no. And I was like, and sometimes, I don't know why I do this, sometimes he says no. And I listen. I'm like, oh, he said no, I can't do that. Other times he say no, and I'd be like, I'm gonna do it anyways, mind your business. So this was one of those times where I was like, daddy said no, I can't do it, move on. Like, which... I'm just trying to think about it now. What if I had been regular? And if he said no, I'd have been like, okay, let me go be a classics major. Like what would my life have been? I feel like I probably wouldn't have had to manipulate the situation. Like, because I got to college, I got to LSU where I'm at now, and I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a goal. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And that was actually the first time ever, because I was the type of person who plans everything. I always know what to do. And I got there and I knew nothing. And I'm glad I knew nothing, because now I am a different person for it. But that manipulation, like, was real. Like, there were serious arguments between the parents.
I'm sure it's a lot of money.
It's
a lot of money to go from almost free to not free. You see what I'm saying? So that's significant.
So looking back on that, right? So we're in acceptance mode. Now I never was a manipulative. Okay, wait a minute, let me chill out. Yes, I did. So looking back on that, I know that, you know, out of that manipulation, you become this wonderful person that you are. Your experience at your college is fantastic. You wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. But the vehicle you used to get there, how do you feel about that?
I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done, especially because there is a lot of tension between my parents. And there's always been a lot of tension between my parents. So if I stir the pot, the pot immediately boils over. And then the stove catches on fire. It's never like just a little turn. You pick up that spoon, the whole kitchen about to light on fire. And by that time in my life, I knew that. I understood that perfectly.
Okay.
But it was one of those moments where it was like, I'm about to get in there. I'm about to start with
it as a tool.
Yeah, because I also knew, which I'm kind of upset about now, because I knew that I could get my way stirring it. Because when I was younger, I used to like always try to avoid stirring the pot, and I would accidentally like hit it, like, and then it would explode. But at that time, I was like, well, it done blew up in my face so many times before. Let me blow it up in my favor this time.
Okay.
Okay, I get that.
So you assessed it over the time, over the years. I've been trying to keep these situations from boiling over, and it just happenstance that circumstances would come up, and boom, you know, the interaction or the tension would happen, and it was not because I intentionally did it, but now I can use that same tension that these 3 adults have with each other and probably get the outcome that I want.
Right.
It wasn't a probably. It was a definitely. It's like, if I do this, I'm going to LSU.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, that was, I think, what, like, I had learned.
You hear that, parents?
Like,
Keep beefing. They using it. They using
yeah,
it.
like, I had learned, because, like, especially if the pot boils over when you don't want it to as a kid, you the one getting hurt. Because
Right.
they going to get over it. I'm left with the emotional scars. So I was like, this time, it's not going to be me hurt. Y'all going to hurt.
Right. Right.
And it's definitely messed up. It's definitely messed up.
Right.
I feel bad for it, but, like, I know that I understood that I could flip it. And I had gotten to the age where I was like, I'm going to flip it.
Well, that's, you know, that's very big and very honest. Because even at the whatever age that I am right now, there are people who refuse to accept their role in situations. Or they'll be like, yeah, I did that, but the reason why I did that is because of, as opposed to just being like, yeah, what I did was effed up, but I did do it, and I have to sit in it, and I have to reflect on it, and I have to own it. So kudos to you for owning
Big
that,
up.
because you're still very young, and it takes people a long time to admit when they've done something and for them to own it. And because when you own something, sometimes it is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? But, and I'm not saying that you feel roses, but I appreciate the fact that you own it and you're okay with owning that. So here we, at the Clean Theory, we purge and reemerge.
Owning your stuff.
Own your stuff, that's what we do.
You see that safe space?
Because, I mean, we're fantastic aunts, though. So that's just, you know, that's a whole nother.
that's the other
you know what
part.
I'm saying? So we don't have, okay, no, we do have a clip for this. Yes. Because the drama with the other spouse or the ex-spouse or the ex-girlfriend or whatever the situation is always affects the kids, right? Even if it's not happening in front of the children. They know it. They know it. Whether the other party is telling the children or the father is telling the children, or because they understand energy. I've always been of the position of what is the best for this particular situation, for everybody in the situation, and sometimes that choice did not include myself. So, in this clip, you know, I guess one of the questions that Lee and I both came up with to accompany this clip is, how have you processed the dynamic between your parents, between your biological mom and your dad, or your biological mom and your bonus mom? And how has that, you know, affected you? Was there some drama-filled situations, et cetera, et cetera?
The relationship that took me the most, like, time to not necessarily understand the dynamics, but to accept the dynamics was the relationship between both of my moms.
Okay.
Right.
Because
they're contentious.
Yeah.
They're
And
not friends. They do not talk. They just don't.
And never have.
Yeah. They do not occupy the same space at any time.
so, but growing up, these are both my moms.
Right.
I'm like, why not? like, and it was a continuous why not. And like, the older I got, I would say from like around like 10 to maybe like 15, I was like, and it's disrespectful that you don't, because like, y'all can't get over it for me.
Wow. Okay.
And as an adult now, I wouldn't want to put them into that, because I mean I'm going to for graduation, but like, I wouldn't be like, oh, y'all have to continuously do it, because I understand there's just a whole lot behind it that this isn't healthy for anybody. And I want health for everybody who like I care about. But when I was younger, it was like, y'all not liking each other is only affecting me. Like, cause y'all live y'all happy lives without each other. but I gotta live with both of y'all every day. And when I go home, and I'll get excited because I want to tell my mom about something good that happened to mommy. What I'm telling her for, she ain't gonna care. Or like if I am telling stuff to mommy, because mommy is a little more like, you know, like she'll listen, but she ain't gonna care. Or if I'm talking to my dad about both of them, I'm like, do I even mention it? Like it was more like, keep this part of your life over here and this part of your life over here, because they don't like each other. They're not gonna care about it, but I care about both of them. So like I'm like, but I care about it.
Yeah, I went through that. My biological mom, unfortunately, she you know, suffers from mental illness, and so that's why, you know, she didn't raise me. But I've always known that she was my birth mother.
Yeah.
But there were some moments where, you know, when I would go see her, there was one in particular, and it was a bad moment, and I knew immediately that I couldn't go. My sister and I knew immediately that we couldn't go home and talk about the bad incident that happened. But ultimately, we wound up getting in trouble for not saying anything. And I'm like, do y'all know who y'all are?
Yeah,
Right?
I have so many moments like that.
Well, you still supposed to tell.
No.
Let's pay attention to who you are to me as a child. Like, you want me to have this space, right? And we talk about safe spaces. But what I've learned now also, too, as a bonus parent, is that sometimes we think that we're fostering safe spaces for our bonus children, and we're really not.
Yeah.
What we are is we're demanding that they do what we tell them, and that they should be okay with whatever the circumstances are that come with that.
Yes.
And children are they're in a constant state of protecting themselves.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And sometimes when you're a bonus child and you feel like, whether it's your bonus parent, your dad, or your mom, or whoever the biological parent is, if you don't feel like they're going to protect you, you are going to protect yourself.
Yes, that is 100%.
And of course, to the parents, it feels like you're being dishonest. It feels like you're lying.
Yes.
Right? Because at the end of the day, when you're a parent, I told you to do something and you're supposed to do it. And it's like, yeah, but you don't understand the stipulations of when I do these things, how it affects me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You think that just because I'm telling you the truth, or I'm giving you all of the information, that eventually that it's going to be okay for me. But sometimes it isn't.
Yes.
Because we don't realize that we have not created that space that is safe in the way that the child needs it.
Yeah.
We think we're creating a space that's safe for the way we think safety looks like. But sometimes when you're a parent, you forget what it was like to be a child.
Yeah.
I love this preaching here, because that is literally what that is exactly what happened growing up. It was most times like you have to like be careful what you say, and if you give a little too much, then it is gonna backfire. So just keep it to like a minimum. Keep it to like, kids are doing great today. My room is pink. We went to Build-A-Bear. Like,
Right.
Like,
you don't want to talk about the fact that, you know what I'm saying, but when we was in the store, you know what I'm saying, my mother was kirked out on the dude, and I felt like trash and this and that and the third. Now, I'm not going to tell you about that.
I'm not gonna tell you about that. Like, that was a constant like situation for me growing up.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you said that, because in one of the clips we talk about, you know, one house is being played, the other, you know, being played either way. And I know that a lot of times parents, I'm speaking for myself, to be specific, I've heard my child say, you know, well, I don't talk about what's happening over here because my mother said that what happens in our house is our business. You know what I mean? And there is a sense of, I have to protect that confidentiality at all costs, whether it's to detriment to myself or not.
Right.
Whereas there could be something really happening that your dad needs to help you through,
Right.
or help resolve, and you need to be able to say it. Like, and I'm asking you, if you had to tell another child, which was going to segue perfectly into the next episode, how does that work when you know something is happening, funny or not, or really not funny, that's happening in the other household, and you really need to tell somebody, but you want to protect the confidentiality or the relationship, or don't want to get in trouble with that other parent?
I'm actually the worst person to ask about this, because I was absolutely famous for telling the small stuff. I don't think, even to this day, I don't think my dad
Or what you thought was small.
or what I thought was small.
Right.
I don't think my dad I know for a fact that my dad and mommy don't know about any of the big stuff that's ever happened at my mom's house to this day. And that was because I can purge the small stuff because they'll just talk to me. They work with me through it. They'll help me through my own emotions. But if I bring up the big stuff, then they're gonna bring her into it too.
Yeah, because they have to.
Because they have to, and I was never comfortable with that. I was never okay with that. So I would be like, what I need to get off my chest, I will get off my chest because I know they'll help me through it. But like everything else, I'm gonna just take that on the shoulder.
Okay, that makes me feel scared.
And I know for like my friends who have also bonus parents, that is a reality. Some things you will just take on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Like it might even hurt worse than the stuff you just purged. I'm gonna still keep it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna still keep it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my mom, you know, the woman that raised me, you know, she passed away. But even up until I was an adult, you know, there was just certain things I just felt like I couldn't. Like I'd be like, nah, I'm gonna hold this to my chest.
This one's for me.
Right now, granted, I'm a full adult at this point in time.
Yes.
But, you know, unless, you know, because then that's what happens too, right? There's certain rules and regulations that you have to follow, right? Don't be telling this business at that household. Don't tell this business at that household, right? But then what happens is that then you become older and your parents feel a little bit more like, okay, well, you're responsible. You're this, you're that. But you are still in the state that they taught you as a child,
because they
don't think that they have to sit you down and be like, hey, listen, you're an adult, you can do these things now, or we can tell you these things, and we know that you're not going to do this, that, or the third. But you don't have that in your mind. You're still operating as the child who were given these rules. You know what I mean? And I learned now as an adult, in some ways, you know, it was unfair to my mom that I still felt like I had to hold my cards to my chest, because I'm sure she shouldn't have had to sit me down at 30 something years old and be like, hey girl, you can, you know,
put it out there.
Out there.
I'm thinking about my child. I'm thinking about you, babe. Like, I'm just like, I make all these attempts to try to give you guys this opportunity to be raw and transparent, but it scares me to know that no matter what I do and say, you still might keep secrets, you still might hold things, and there are situations where another outside person needs to get involved or needs to know these things. So
what's unfortunate is that, and I know we're going to end this segment, what's unfortunate about that is that sometimes when you're the child and you're like, I'm just going to hold this, if you don't recognize that you do need to get this information out, it's going to come out anyway. Right? So the one thing that you were trying to avoid winds up becoming the most messiest thing. Right? And so now you're like, well, did I make a good decision or did I not make a bad decision? But once again, I applaud you for being so candid,
right?
You know, about that, but still understanding the complexity of that, and still understanding how, even though this was a delicate situation for you, but it's also a delicate situation for both of your parents, for all three of your parents, I should say. When I say both, I mean both sides. You know what I mean? But shouts out to Zaina for being here. All right. Okay, we love it. All right, so thank you guys so much. This is the end of the segment 3, and we will see you again. Have you subscribed? Have you commented? Have you liked? Have you shared? Have you overshared? This is the time in which you can be an oversharer. Okay? I am Mo.
I'm Zaina.
And I'm Lee.
And this is the Clean Theory. Mo Generally Talks is the hashtag. We'll see you soon.
Hashtag Mo Generally Talks is the Clean Theory. Clean spirit homes and lives when you feeling weary. The space is safe to purge and re-emerge. We hope you feel the urge on the verge to stay driven while looking at the lives of 3 dope black women. No topics forbidden, raw, bearing our souls. We got love for everybody, even some for you trolls. Talking life, lost love, how to get to the bag. The Clean Theory, Mo Generally Talks is the hashtag.